Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 158. The Battle of how many armies again? Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and irascible Dungeon Master, Michael Corley, and with me tonight, not playing a half-orc, lawful evil cleric, but someone else entirely, is Dare. Dare, tell us who you will be playing.
Hello, everyone. I am Dare, and I'm playing Tix Birchmanson, the mighty miniative paladin.
Wonderful. And sadly, Riley is out a little under the weather today, so our thoughts go with her and hope she has a speedy recovery. Also with us tonight is Lee. Lee, tell us who you will be playing.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lee, and I am playing, well, currently the formerly Kenku, formerly known as formerly Distant Bells, formerly something. Still a rogue, though.
Yes, still a rogue. A lot going on. We're gonna find out what's going on with you in just a moment. But also playing with us tonight, reunited, and it feels so good with your clan is Izzy. Izzy, tell us who you will be playing.
Hello everyone, my name is Izzy, and tonight I am playing Morezi Mugra, half-orc barbarian of the Mugra clan, currently in a ideological dispute.
Yes, as your mother Yamish and your brother, now leader of the Mugra clan, Nargash, have different plans than you do, shall we say, and also going to find out about what the plans are, what the heck is going on, is James. James, tell us who you will be playing.
Hello, everybody. I am James. I am playing Penton Shell as a spell scale sorcerer who is about to throw some hands at some people who are marching on a town.
That is correct. Now, when we last left our players, a whole lot had happened. Most notably, to be perfectly honest, after a delightful little skirmish, the rock elemental that has been living in Tix's backpack ate the chain, soul binding our wonderful Kinku rogue, Distant Bells, to reveal the fact that he was not a Kinku, that he is in fact a what, Lee?
A were-raven.
A were-raven. This has been slightly traumatic to find out you are a different species, and also some of the amazing innate abilities that you had as a Kinku are no longer functioning.
My whole life has been a lie!
You're not wrong. On a plus note, you are no longer a plush toy, so got that going for you.
Yeah, that's
at the same
slightly disappointing in sometimes as well.
Exactly. I was curious how long that was going to go. The good ship Piss Whistle, along with Tix's Lady Love, returned, along with Captain Jackson as well. They have offered to take y'all out to recover the missing half of the staff of Seraphin. But before you can do that, war is coming to the good city of Kalimvor. Kalimvor sits on the border of Beltrain and Hyboria. And right now, the Kingdom of Beltrain, where y'all started your adventure, is marching on this city, almost inconceivably marching parallel to them, not mixed together, but of same purpose, is the Orc clan Mugra, also marching with the Kingdom of Beltrain. Izzy's character, Morezi, has been summoned magically to her clan, where she is currently wonderfully reunited with her mother Yamish and her brother Nargash, but also Penton and I believe Tix as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tix and Athora have gone to parley to find out what's going on with the Kingdom of Beltrain. So all that exciting stuff is happening. So I want to find out exactly how close a raven is to a writing desk. Because right now, Distant Bells, you are trying to write. And it is going poorly. I would like you to give me a quick check. This is just a straight dexterity roll. Just give me a roll and add your dexterity bonus.
Okie dokie.
At disadvantage.
You've been talking to Tex.
Uh,
Alrighty. A straight dexterity roll at disadvantage. Bearing in mind, yes, my dexterity is great, but I'm also going through some stuff right now, so it makes sense. Okay, so that's the first die roll is a 13, plus my dex, which is 5, so 18.
18?
And my second roll is 18, plus 5, which is 23, so 18.
So you are definitely improving very rapidly. You have been trying to write your name. You've been trying to write your sister's name. You've been trying to write your mother's name. But you have been finding, to your just utter dismay, that your ability to perfectly copy things is gone. You no longer have that ability. And trying to help you is the monk Taka, who still looks pretty poorly because it's only been a few days since they had escaped from their terrible torment beneath the necropolis of the magically augmented Kalimvor, but they're looking a lot better with a few decent meals, and has been trying to help you because they themselves have had to learn how to relearn how to use an arm after receiving a magical prosthetic one. And so they've been kind of guiding you and helping you, and they're asking you, can you talk?
Bells is trying, but this new form doesn't have the same vocal cords, as it were. There's no... It doesn't act the same way. Plus, he doesn't have his own words. He only has a bank of voices that he used to use to communicate. He was a soundboard. Now he can't do that because his voice box doesn't do that. It can't perfectly replicate noises. So he's basically a newborn at this point, like in terms of his ability to communicate.
Taka says, well, think about it this way. Don't try to talk. Make a noise. And they suck back in their breath and just go, whoo, and then very self-deprecatingly, Taka has the vague features of a monkey, goes, ooh, ooh, ah, 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 and laughs, and gestures to you to do the same.
Bells looks askance at this interesting character, and just kind of actually like full-on laughs, like properly laughs, like a sound that Bells has never made before, but he actually finds this funny, and he laughs. It's a he's got this biggest grin on his face. His eyes are twinkling. He's having a ball just watching this man perform like a monkey.
Yep. And when you laugh, you realize, oh wait, I actually laughed. I actually made a sound, and I made a sound on purpose. And it's the first time in your entire life that you've made your own noise. Ever.
He cries. He cries. He actually cries.
I think that's beautiful. And Taka, without hesitation, comes up and gives you a big old bear hug. Taka is strong, but very wiry. But that mechanical arm freezes in place for a moment, and it's like being hugged by a mountain. And it's just, and they say, you're going to be okay. But speaking of whether or not you're going to be okay, your mother, Merezi, has been telling the entire clan how you killed a god. And it has been growing in the telling. I would like to say that Merezi has not been, leaving her friends behind in the story. Like, she told everyone what happened, including the part where you nearly got your head pulled off and nearly died. And how your friends brought you back to life. You told them the story. It's a good story. But by the time your mother is done telling everyone, you had planted your boot in the face of the god and stabbed it through the mouth with the halberd and like just took the explosion and it knocked you out. Like that's how warped the story has become as she's telling and retelling it with incredible gusto, and she's pulling out her enormous spear from her backstrap and like miming you stabbing the god in the face and going on. You're hearing this just go and on and on and on, and your brother kind of like gives you like a side eye and goes, she's really good at that, isn't she?
Yeah.
So, I don't know quite how to say this, Morezi, but it sounds an awful lot like you've been very close to the staff of Seraphim.
Whoa.
That's not Morezi.
Well, not like... I mean, I didn't touch it. Saw a guy got, like, liquefied once when he did.
You? Well, I'm glad you didn't touch it, but, and he looks behind and kind of gestures back to the grand, Mugra army marching behind him. They hold a much more ragged, regimen, but there is still an order to their chaos. And he goes, it's kind of why we're here. We are here to finally take the power that is due to our clan, and we will own this power, and we will be unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah, I've, since I've been around it, I've heard a few different people say that.
Well, I don't doubt it. I mean, after all, who doesn't want the most powerful magical item in all of the world? And what has been given to me by revelation is that now that the staff is broken, anyone can wield it, whereas before only the chosen bloodline was able to wield it. But now anyone who is strong enough and willing to take hold of this power can wield it.
Based on my memory, is that true? I'm trying to remember that, like, the guy who got the goblin who got liquefied, wasn't he using like a fake or something?
Well, the goblin that was liquefied was using the real one. Yes.
Okay, yeah. But he certainly wasn't powerful enough, but like...
No, it ate his lunch. It is not... You weren't there when the other goblin, who is King Midge, that was in a side quest with Taka and Cackle, was actually wielding one of the halves of the Staff of Seraphim and had almost godlike powers, but it did not go well for them.
Gotcha.
So you have never actually seen someone successfully wield the staff. You do understand from context, from being in this party for so long, that originally only those of the bloodline of the princess, so, you know, the king and the princess and everyone in this long bloodline, only they can safely wield the full power of the staff. And even then, it is rumored that it, you know, may be fatal to wield it.
Cool.
But
okay.
So as y'all are marching, he looks to you and he says, "Sister, can I count on you? Will you support us? Will you be with us? Because I know that you have been through great trials. It is written across your face, but will you stand with Clan Clan Mugra?"
Well, I certainly want what's best for us. I mean, I'm worried. Dardesh, you're my little brother, and like, I saw a goblin get liquefied when and like, obviously, you are much stronger than a goblin, but I'm a little worried. But you know,
I do appreciate your warning, sister, because I share your dislike of magic and this foolishness. I would much prefer, and he slaps his back, and he has two great scimitars, which a normal human would have to wield two-handed, but he wields them both one-handedly. You know, he goes, "I would much rather solve my problems with these, but we both know that some things require magic, and now, and he reaches into his tunic under his leather and chain armor, and he pulls out a sigil, and it is the symbol of the eye with the line drawn through it. And he says, now we have the power to take the world. And we cut over to Penton and Tix and Athora as you are walking up to the court, the center area that is highly protected of the march, where the king resides. The soldier was one of the few, unfortunately, probably several hundred, but still of several thousand, who were slaughtered that day so many years ago during the great battle where the staff of Seraphim was shattered. They recognized you, Penton, as the not court jester, as the court magician and protector of the princess.
It's a very fine line.
Well, I mean, I actually don't disagree with that, in that you were considered the court magician, but that's not like the high grand wizard. That's like an honorary title. Yeah. It doesn't actually mean anything.
The line between wizard and jester is the number of prestidigitations he cast.
There you go.
For the listener as well, historically, jesters were considered the most highest position a noble could have in the king's court, because they were literally the only ones who could tell the king he was wrong.
Well, we definitely need to let Cody know that, Izzy.
Yes.
As the head jester of the medieval fair of Norman, we will definitely have to let him know that, and he does often do that, by the way.
The line between a wizard and a jester is how silly their hat is.
Yep. Print it, put it on a T-shirt. That's the Chafing Armor T-shirt.
And the wizard's hat is definitely sillier.
True.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You will never catch Penton in a hat.
No.
Because it hides his scales.
I think we should remember that just a few hours ago, Penton reduced a wizard to a fine paste with a giant gem, which y'all still have in your possession somewhere. I don't know if you put it inside Audrey, who is resting on the sort of plinth thing that was put up.
I'm sure that I never got a chance to. I
think he's still holding it.
Jammed it in a pot. I might still be holding it. He's kind of like
you could be holding it. It is a big gem. It's like the size of a soccer ball. I mean, it is large. It is a large cut gem, and it is extremely valuable by itself. But it is also clearly magical as well.
It's now half gem, half wizard.
I mean, there's still little bits of hair and
skull.
I did clean everything off at some point, I think, but there might be a little something gemmed in there or something. But I'm just gonna. I'm sure I'll assume that he's carrying it absently, with not even realizing he has it in his hands because he's so preoccupied. Just to lend more of an air of majesty, dominance, whatever that takes to get him through there and get to the people in charge.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So, as y'all come forward, you can see the king. And the king is literally being carried on a dais. It's not an enormous dais, but it is being carried by 8 strong men. And he is sitting on top. You can see the faint glimmer of magical wards shielding on the dais. The queen is not here. Clearly, obviously, the princess is not here because she has been kidnapped.
Right.
But this is King Alam. And none of you have seen him since the Great Battle, for those of you who were part of it. He was there at the battle, but he certainly was not at the front. And you had no idea, honestly, whether or not he survived.
Right.
Say his name again.
Nothing but pure chaos. Alam, A-L-A-M. He is middle-aged, a little paunchy, but fairly he's not a wimp. It's clear that he understood the use of a blade, and kind of has a thick, dark reddish beard. Very hooded eyes as he looks down upon y'all as the dais comes closer. What would you like to do?
I will walk up right in front of it, getting in their way, make the perfect bow, as one should to his liege, and say...
Tix will be right next to him and mimic him.
Your Majesty, I hope you recall who I am.
I have not forgotten my court magician.
Oh, and by the way, Penton is in full glow right now as well.
Are you? This is entirely up to you. Are you Dragonborn or are you human again?
Oh, I had to drop the Dragonborn.
That's right. Yes. Okay. I obviously he wouldn't recognize you if you were Dragonborn.
Yeah. Although the wings are kind of new, but still.
Yeah.
My liege, I have grave concerns over what's happening right now. What can you tell me what the meaning of this impending attack is?
It is quite simple. Our army was decimated, both figuratively and literally, 3 years ago. It has been a long, hard road to build up my army once again, and we have recently gained knowledge and insight that we can finally take back what is ours, what we have quested for, what you quested for all that time ago, to regain the Staff of Seraphim, to stop it from stop Set from destroying the world. We will take back and heal the staff, and we will take our rightful place as rulers of this realm.
About that, there's a few hitches in that logic, sir, and I beg thee let me explain. First off, the staff is not as available as you might think it is. Half of it is currently sitting under a kraken out in the sea. So that's a problem. Also, what is this? What is this grand insight that you've come across? I'm curious to know who you've been garnering this information from. I might know them.
He tilts his head slightly, and he reaches into his cloak, and he pulls out a pendant with a sigil on it, with the eye with a line drawn through it. And he says, I have been given insights by a god.
Do you know which god that is?
It is not permitted to speak his name on the material plane, but I know whom it is. Do not find me so foolish as to think that I would follow a creature without following a god, without knowing who it was.
Oh, you mean Falazure?
And when you say that, I'm not joking. I don't mean to make like a Foul Blucher joke. Like literally in the distance, thunder rumbles, and when you say that name, it's like Gandalf saying, the words on the ring. Mm-hmm. When you say it, that your voice echoes through the valley when you speak his name, because you are circumventing a spell that is so powerful that it has stopped all creatures on the material plane from saying it, and you just said it.
Knowing Penton, he'd just see like, that's neat.
I am rolling with that.
Yeah. So right now, at this very moment, anything that you want to do persuasion-wise or intimidate-wise will be at advantage.
Okay.
But be warned.
Just the sheer awesomeness.
Yes, exactly.
My liege, that symbol you hold is a great evil. One that we've been battling for years now.
This is a very I say the word again, grave accusation that you are making, Penton. Because this god has helped me rebuild my army, has helped me find exactly what I needed in order to become more powerful, has given me the knowledge of exactly how to manipulate and control the Staff of Seraphim, which I know has been broken.
My lord, did you also know that this god Falazure had orchestrated the destruction of your army the first time in order to get the Staff of Seraphim from the princess? Did he bring that up in the conversation?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah, that's a 26.
Well, not for nothing. You have all grown in your power and your might, but much more so in just your confidence and who you are as people. And Tix has not only circumvented great hardships, but has become a paladin of Garl Glittergold and resisted the manipulations of a rather dodgy axe. And as such, you put this forward. And he leans forward, and you see his hand come to the pendant. And he does that classic yoink and pulls it off and looks at it. And he says, This is very troubling. This is very, very troubling to me. But I do not wish to be a fool. I want you to know that I have been a fool many times in my life, but I do not want this to be one of them. Can you heal the Staff of Seraphim? Can you stop all of this from happening? Because I sense that whether or not he was telling the truth, I sense that he used many true words and that the world is in great and grave danger.
Yes, my lord.
Can you find the staff? Go ahead.
He is the danger. He is planning on coming back to the material plane to take over and kill everyone and everything. That is because he is a god of death.
And I believe that he is holding your daughter somewhere in order to use her to use the staff once it is fixed.
And at the mention of his daughter, his face darkens, and he says, "Have you had any word of my daughter?"
Virtually nothing, and believe me, we have tried.
And I want y'all to know, y'all have tried. Y'all have been, as Izzy so rightly said, been distracted by God stuff. But you have never stopped looking for her, looking for signs of her, and there have been none. The only thing is a divine revelation given to you by Prognati, who told you that she was still alive, and that the path that you're on is the best path for finding her. Very well. I will consider your words, and I sense the truth of them. I know I am too old, and honestly too weak. And he smiles and like at his couple of his closest aides, to wield the staff. Should I do so, it would be my death. For certain. My daughter has a chance, but only one of the bloodline can wield the staff safely. Anyone else is inviting chaos.
This is true.
I can pull back my army. I can pause here for a time. But things are put in motion now that are not going to be easily turned aside. If you can find the staff, if you can heal the staff, if you can show to everyone what you say is true, then we can stop this conflict before it happens.
Well, my liege, I can guarantee you that we have about 1 week until...
5 days.
Excuse me. About 5 days. A little bird told me. A big bird.
A little feather arrived. 5 days.
In about 5 days' time, if we haven't retrieved the other half of the staff, a malevolent creature of gargantuan size will start destroying all the cities on the coastline, starting with Massgate. And this is
My
at the
gods.
machination of this creature that gave you this information. He's been orchestrating all of this to try and keep you distracted so that you can not be paying attention to his real goal.
My God. Listen, my primary concern is that I have finally, and I'll be honest, with the help of this god, I have brokered a temporary peace with the Mugra clan. But they have been promised power. They have been promised conquest. They have been promised blood. And I have a special relationship with them. I have forged an alliance with them. But I cannot hold them at bay forever.
Does Morezi have a new daddy? Is the King Morezi's new dad? Is this the special relationship we've got going on here? What?
Oh no!
Oh my god! My new OTP Alamesh.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
So, Morezi, you actually hear this first because you're further north. There is a great rumbling. Boom, boom, boom. And you've heard this rumbling once before. You definitely have heard this before. And as the hilltops from the distance, as the sun is beginning to rise fully into the sky, is silhouetting, you see several giants come over the hillside.
Is one of them lovingly cradling one Denwolf of New Rock?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
No, you were right. You were right. Now, obviously, you don't see that right away, but yes. Just to cut to the chase, you see several frost giants, 5 in total, coming towards the city from the north. There are several humanoid figures on literally riding on their shoulders. And as they get closer, yeah, there's Dinwolf. Dinwolf is definitely one of them, but that's not the only one. What do your orcish eyes see? You can easily make out the slightly beefy figure of Prognati. The tiefling artificer is coming this way. But just to be clear, the frost giants are geared for war. They do not wear like full plate armor, but they were not dressed in armor when you last saw them, and they are wearing armor now. And they are coming directly towards the city, towards Kalimvor, not towards your army. But towards Kalimvor. And of course, shortly after that, y'all see this as well, because it's really hard to not notice 5 frost giants coming over a hilltop.
So let's talk about Morezi's family situation right now, because her father is tied up with a frost giant, her mother is tied up with the king of Beltrain. Who would have thought that Morezi would be the face of multiculturalism in the D&D realms?
Wow.
So beautiful. Family comes in all shapes and sizes.
Exactly.
That is right.
Literally all sizes.
I'm sorry. I need to see this family photo. When all this is over, I need a family photo of Morezi and her whole family on every single side. It's going to be taken from the moon.
We cut back to distant bells. You've been hearing the klaxons and alarms, but now you are hearing people saying, frost giants coming from over the hill, frost giants coming from the north. What would you like to do?
Bells will hurriedly write down that, or try to write down that the giants are probably friendly. We've met frost giants before. Of course, we don't know for certain they're the same frost giants, but the first thing that comes to his mind, amongst all the other things going on in there, is that, we've met frost giants before and they weren't that bad. Some weirdo human stayed behind with them, seems to have a fetish, but for the most part, not kink shaming here, it's his life, but if it's the same ones, then they're most likely friendly.
Very, very possible.
Or at least not hostile.
Any species, any gender, as long as they are far bigger than Denwolf.
Are we sure Denwolf's not secretly a bard? In that horrible, gross play style that most people seem to have assumed from bards. But yes, it would seem that Denwolf likes them. He like them round and big.
Excuse me, the technical term is thick.
Yes, but when he's throwing a gig, he just can't help himself. He acting like an animal.
Jail, you're in jail.
Wow.
You have been uninspired, sir. Uninspired.
Anyway, yeah, but, that would be a lot of things to try and write down with his crown fist grip, so he would probably just try and write down friends and with exclamation marks.
Okay. Are you going to do anything? Like, where...
Actually, he will try to say the word armor.
Okay. Give me a quick roll, and this would be just a... technically it's performance.
Until I currently learn how to speak, yes. Okay. Okay, instead he just goes... I just rolled a 2, and I have a 2 in performance, so that's a 4.
All right. Yeah, it comes out as a series of high-pitched cries.
Mm-hmm.
And Taka just kind of tilts their head and looks at you quizzically and goes, we're going to have to go out there, right?
He nods. And he pats himself and goes, "Ah!" Again.
Put on the Reds!
Nice.
That is when someone comes to the door. And it is actually your sort of friend, Distant Bells. It is, I believe, Galen.
Yes.
The potion maker.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, yes, so I have been working with 2 roundabouts. The third one is recovering from having an arrow shot into them. But they are helping me butcher the aboleth. And we're skipping past the whole part where they're like, oh my god, you're someone different. And, all of that happens.
Galen's a potion seller. She sells potions that do all sorts of things to people. I'm fairly sure this is pretty mundane for her at this point. She's like, oh, okay, well, that happened.
Yeah, she was a little more normal. That's odd.
It is established that one potion in her shop is the previous owner, and then no one knows which one it is. So yeah, there's just this is D&D, man. Like, it happens.
Yep.
I'm just updating my contacts and moving on. But they said they've been butchering the aboleth, and they've gotten some really good stuff. But they were thinking about something, because when they were butchering it, they found a skeleton inside.
Ooh.
And this skeleton
just one
was one complete skeleton. That's it. That is a really good one. And they say, sometimes you get a little inspiration. Sometimes you get a little something that just tells you that maybe something is right. And they pull out a little oilskin satchel and they undo it, and you can tell the thing underneath has been like hastily cleaned. It still has a slightly fishy smell about it. But it is also magical, and magical things tend to resist, staining and grossness and such. And they said, I think this is for you. I think you were meant to have this.
Bells cocks his head in a very bird-like way. Mm-mm. Some habits just die hard,
Is just a beautiful set of studded leather armor. And it just almost glows. It's so pretty.
I hope it doesn't actually glow. That wouldn't really be helpful for me. But
no, it would not. It would not. But you take it, and as soon as you take it, you can tell that it is starting to change and reshape itself to your size.
Bell's his immediate instinct is to like throw it because it's magical, but he just kind of he can't bring himself to. But like he's kind of mesmerized. But like this is gorgeous armor. Obviously, like it came from an aboleth, and it looks like this. So, you know, there's just something about it that transfixes him, and he could feel it changing in his hands, of which he's still surprised he has hands. He's still not used to these extra 2 digits. But he just kind of takes it, and then once he feels it's kind of adjusted properly and it stopped shaping itself, I guess, he kind of lifts it up and does the clueless thing of holding it against himself and looking around and just kind of.
So
how do I look?
What I want you to, well, first of all, inside, do you speak Elven?
Yes, I do. I know Elven. At least I couldn't. Yeah, Elven is on my list of languages. It's a bit in flux about how this is all going to work. So. But yes. He can speak Common, Auran, Elven, Undercommon, Dwarven, Draconic, and Giant.
There is a single word inscribed on the inside, what would be the chest. And it is in Elven, and it is the verb to don, like as in to don armor. To put on, to wear. That's what the verb means.
At least I thought it was like a mafia boss. I'll make you an offer. I can't refuse.
Exactly. A different Dawn.
Put the armor on. Become one of the family.
What I would like you to do is I would like you to make another performance check to see if you can say that word.
Okie dokie. Just straight, no disadvantage?
No chaser?
No, just straight.
Just straight. Unlike me. Ooh, okay. I should know that my performance is 2. That's 19.
19. So you have been really struggling. So tell me what it's like when you finally say a word. You made a sound that was your own, but this is the first word that you have ever said on your own that was not copied from someone else. What does it sound like when you make that sound?
It is a his actual voice, just speaking, is kind of like a kind of a deep, resonant sort of voice, almost like your own, Michael. But his first word that he actually speaks by himself sounds more like the teenager from The Simpsons. So yeah, that would be how it would come out until his voice is kind of really settled in. But yeah, that would be how it would sound. But later on, his voice will be, you know, very gravelly and rumbly and deep and bassy. But right now, he's going through vocal puberty, as it were.
But you know, you can tell the timbre and the weight of your voice of what it could be. But like you said, it comes out, you know, Adro.
Exactly.
But as you do, what kind of armor would you want to have? Like, what kind of armor would you want this to look like?
It would, I mean, with this, it would have to be adaptable because of the, you know, the nature of my quote-unquote curse. So it would have to be something that doesn't bind the shoulders or arms much. So it would have to be kind of like a corset almost. So yeah, that would probably be it. It'd be kind of like a corset style armor.
Okay.
It would have some pauldrons, but they would be like they would be attached in such a way that they would not restrict movement in the shoulders and arms in any way at all.
Okay. So
but, yeah.
This is glamoured studded leather. Now I'm gonna play with this a little bit in that it like you said, you can actually change the properties of the armor in that, if you want to or not want to have pauldrons, you can. But the difference is this also has the power to cast a basic illusion, much like the Hat of Disguise that Osokai would had at some points. This can actually appear to be different clothing.
Ooh, okay.
Simply by speaking the command word and concentrating, it will become any clothing that you desire illusionarily. I further will say that you can reshape the armor to be different shape of armor to accommodate your form. But it is still armor underneath. If someone were to touch it, they would feel the rivets and leather. So that part is illusionary. But it does mold and shape and adapt as you do, as you are getting dressed. Because as we pointed out before, your old clothes don't fit.
Mm-hmm. They don't.
Because you were Kinku shaped.
Yes.
You need shoes now.
I do. Oh God, yeah, I need shoes.
You've never worn shoes before.
I never needed to, and no one made shoes that fit my feet. Oh, so yeah, he's going to need boots and he's going to need gauntlets or gloves even because his talons. Yep. Oh, wow, this is all new.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
But his first thing would be he'd look at this and with the armor and just he would think about. He thinks back to the time when he was at that traveling circus or that traveling theatre play back when he was a kid, and the many times he's been since. And he kind of thinks about the actors on the stage when they were doing the swashbuckling and tales of piracy and having a go and thinking about those costumes, and that would be when that glamour illusion accidentally sort of pops in, and he's now dressed in swashbuckling gear. That's what it looks like. He looks like a classic swashbuckler, hat and all, like the puffy shirt, the puffy white shirt, and the puffy pants and the boots, and just that classic theatrical swashbuckler look. That's what he looks like now.
I love it. And that's exactly what I wanted, was for you to think about that and say that. So let's cut forward. Tix, Athora, Penton, Morezi, and very soon will be Distant Bells. You'll be coming up behind them. Are all gathering at the front, the north part of Kalimvor. As these frost giants are coming up. And you can see very clearly on one shoulder Prognati, on the other shoulder Dimwolf, Dinwolf, coming up with, and a few assortment of frost elves are coming with them. They come stomping up to the city. Boom, 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 boom.
It's just us. It's not any of the
I'm going to say it's just
or anything
y'all.
Like that? Okay.
I'm going to say it's just y'all. That the king has sent y'all to find the staff, to heal the staff, and Morezi, your family has sent you ahead to find out what's going on. That you say you knew these frost giants, and so they sent you ahead to figure out what's going on here before they do anything. In
Morezi catches.
Go ahead.
Morezi catches up her party on what she witnessed, what happened with the Mukra clan.
And same. Back at you.
Yeah, just
very good.
Making that canonical.
Yes, I did. It was very important that y'all all did this separately, but it also is equally important that y'all need to get back together because I don't want to take 10 years.
Yeah.
The head giant looks down and goes, "Whoa, hello."
Was he a whale from Finding Nemo?
They say it in giant, by the way.
Right. Penton's going to cast a quick comprehend languages so we can actually talk to them.
Absolutely. Like in between, it takes so long for them to do that. Whoa! Hello comes out at the second end as you cast.
Well met, my friends. Well met.
It is good to see you. We have not seen you since we feasted upon that disgusting bug.
Hail and well met, Neldor. It is good to see you again.
remember my name? No one remembers my name.
Well, you've made quite an impression, my friend.
You have seriously though, Neldor is touched, genuinely touched, because no one ever remembers their name because they just see giant. So they are actually touched, and they say we had received a summons that sent us on our way. And with that, Prognati says, we were able to speed things along a little bit because it would have taken us a while to get here.
I would say.
But we still couldn't quite make it all the way to the city. Plus, we didn't want to pop in to the middle of the city. That would have been unwise.
Good point.
Yeah, that might have taken a panic.
Tense.
And Prognati holds up a feather and says, I hear you've got a hurt friend.
We do. Oh my goodness. I petting tears up a little bit. You wouldn't believe that. It's awful. Some horrible magician tried to destroy our lovely hut, and he has no feet anymore. Well, he has no toes anymore. The toes are gone.
My goodness. I must see this at once. Neldor, please put me down, and Denwolf as well. And Denwolf stretches out his arms hugely to you, Morezi, and goes, Morezi, it is good to see you again.
Hello, Denwolf.
Wow. That is, okay.
Sorry, it's it's been a weird day. Man, really a family reunion.
Brezzy comes in for like a half shoulder hug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very everyone kind of sort of half looks away because it is super awkward.
Yes,
it's just super awkward. But y'all managed to do a half hug, and
I think. Mm-hmm. My original Dad took this in a slightly different direction, which is chill. But my original concept for Denwolf is that he totally intentionally left Yamesh just because it was just supposed to be a one night stand. And that I don't think that was the case anymore. We had an intro cutscene that implied he was escaping for his life, but I don't know if Morezi knows that.
Well, and it could be that prequel could be his interpretation of things. It could be that it was somewhere in between.
Probably, yeah.
You don't know. You haven't had a chance to talk to your mom about it specifically since then. I mean, obviously, what you know is what your mother told you.
Yeah.
And what your mother told you was closer to what you had heard. So have to see. These things are complicated. And just then, the side gate opens. Obviously, the main gate is closed during a siege, but the side gate opens, and out comes Distant Bells. And y'all all see him again, just kind of anew in his new form, stumbling about in shoes, or boots, I should say.
He's stumbling a boot.
Stumbling a boot, yes. And I want to ask, Distant Bells, do you say anything?
Not really. I think his first aim would be try not to make a complete fool of himself by falling flat on his face with these boots. But also, actually, I'll discuss this with you in the break. Yeah, he'll kind of stagger forward and kind of the rest of the party doesn't see the armor he has on. They just see obviously his
fancy
quote unquote glamour. You see, yeah, his fancy swashbuckling stuff. But yeah, he kind of he's getting better. He's now actually able to jog, I guess. But a full run is a little beyond him at the moment. But he kind of runs up, and just kind of stands there, looking a little sheepish, kind of doing that whole anime thing of rubbing the back of his head, looking a bit embarrassed.
I love it. I know, I love it. And
Bells, it's great to see you.
Bells inclines his head. His face is. He has his ruddy, freckled face, and he's got a big wide smile, but he's got a slight gap between his two front teeth. He looks like a farm boy, the stereotypical classic farm boy, But he's just kind of a sheepish look on his face, and he kind of nods and giggles a little bit.
I love it.
The ossification of distant bells.
Yes, Queen.
He's a good-looking dude. He's not like, what was that dude from back in Masgate? The actual shining hero dude, the really classical handsome dude.
Vigil Fist.
Oh,
Vigil Fist, yeah.
Vigil Fist.
He might be short, but he was, classically handsome. He's not that. He's a farm boy. His ears stick out a little too much, but not. He's not a jughead, but they're a little too wide. He's just he's
giving like Luke Skywalker.
He's goofily handsome, yeah.
He'll get more handsome as he gets older.
That would be the case. Yeah, he is 17. So,
He and Morezi are practically the same age.
Well, he would have...
technically, Morezi, I think, is 19, because 2 years have passed. No, 20?
Yeah, so she's like middle-aged now.
Oh,
yes.
Bells and
Kenku. Don't say that.
As a Kenku, he was technically kind of middle-aged. He would have been dead by 25, 30. So...
Really?
Kenkus don't live that long.
Age that fast.
Kenkus are very short-lived. Yeah, so... But now he's not actually Kenku, so he is still he's still a teenager. So yeah, as time goes on, he may in fact get better. But right now he is gangly. He actually looks gangly, dorky, and moves very awkwardly. He's still not quite settled into his body yet. His body hasn't settled into him.
Well, let's cut to the examination of the chicken hut, which is next to the docks. And Prognati is just all, oh noes, oh goodnesses, and just taking measurements and doing little artificer things. And actually, Taka comes up and greets Prognati, and Prognati is overjoyed to see them because, of course, Prognati was the one, both who received their artificial arm from Taka received their artificial arm for Prognati, but also Taka was the one who gave him the other half of the staff so he could create fakes to, basically to throw everybody off the trail, which unintentionally led to y'all having a fake half for quite a while. But they know each other, and so they're chatting and talking. Prognati says that, he thinks he can do something to help. The residuum that is there. You noticed, by the way, that like it doesn't blow away in the wind. It just sort of stays there. Like even though it is light and fine and you can pick it up, that it just kind of, it's almost like that magic sand that you pour into water and it forms shapes. Like it sort of obeys its own gravity.
Right.
So it is very much still there. And he says that he can use a lot of that, but he will need resources in order to do that, and he's going to need a facility to work at. A forge, a smith, something where he can get some work.
I know a recently vacated wizard's tower.
I was just about to say the same thing.
That would have wonderful equipment. Yes, that would be great.
It might smell slightly of urine.
Glances down at the gem in his hand. Oh, you could probably use this too. I don't know. He holds out the big gem.
Goodness, that is a powerful arcane focus. Yes, I could definitely. That would aid me greatly.
Excellent. If there's anything on it, just let me know. I'll clean it off.
And I am going to need some various things, some smithing done. Can you assist me in that, or know where I can contract it out?
Wait, do we know of a smith in this town?
Yeah, he has 2 tiefling children.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's also missing a hand.
Or 3 tiefling
kind of
children
problem.
now.
Well,
He's kind of
the
missing a hand,
artificer's
though,
missing
so that's an
a hand as
issue.
Well, Prognati can do the smithing. The smith can just,
Provide the
assist.
facility.
yeah, and the
Right.
facilities.
When you say that about him missing a hand, he looks over to Taka and he looks back at you and smiles and he goes, "I might be able to do something about that."
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
That's a thing.
I will need some resources, but I might be able to do something about that.
Titan glances over to who I'm assuming his mother, who is at least somewhere in the vicinity.
Yes.
And says to her, "Hey, Mom, I'd like to offer a choice. Prognati here is a master artificer, and he's going to try and help our hut get literally back on her feet. But we're also going to be heading out to sea, so I don't know where you feel like you'd be most useful in this scenario. I mean, I'd love you to come with us, but if you don't like boats, I mean, you could. Well, it's up to you. I leave you the choice to put your skills to most use in our situation here."
Can I just? Sorry, I just want to ask either Penton or the DM. Does Penton's mother have the ability to receive telepathic messages? Can she read minds or something? I ask because I want to try something.
I don't know.
If you ask her very stuntedly, she says that she does have the ability to do that on a limited basis.
Because he might not be able to vocalize it, but he's definitely able to think it. He just kind of directs his thoughts towards her of like, is there anything you could do about me, my condition? Any help would be appreciated. I am really not having a good time right now.
What help do you want?
Just the ability I would like to regain my ability to communicate properly. That's the primary thing. Everything else is just muscle memory and readapting. That's not hard. That's just going to take a little more time, and it'll be a lot quicker to do that than it will be to retrain my entire brain. I obviously, you probably noticed I can't speak properly. I can only do it with this. So, I don't know if you have the ability. I know who you are and what you are. And that's why I asked. But
well, young man, and she walks closer to you. She walks up to you, and again, you're like, "Oh wow, that's a lot of power." Like she's letting you feel a little bit more of it.
Well, Bells also is kind of in a state where he's just not paying that much attention to it at the moment. He can feel it, but he's just like, yeah, this is hitting him so bad that a lot of his normal reactions just aren't happening. Like
you could problems right now.
Yeah, you could literally hand him something that would destroy the world that's magical, and he would probably hold on to it. Like rather than like throw it as far away from him as possible. He's that torn up and out of his usual personality. So yeah, he feels that, but he's like, oh, whatever.
She says, young man, I don't want you to think that you can solve all your problems with a dragon. You can, but I don't want you to think that. And she reaches forward and she grabs you by the throat.
Again?
And she looks again. And she looks you
this time it
right
hurts.
in the eyes. She casts a spell. Now, this is not like before. This is not like her trying to disenchant you. What she is literally doing is a form of baleful polymorph. A highly individualized form of baleful polymorph. So here is the question. Are you going to try and resist it?
No. Why? One, this is a dragon. Bells knows this is a dragon. He doesn't stand a chance to resist for a start. And 2, he's not really thinking about it. He's just like, this might help. This might help. Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
He did ask.
Yeah. Well, again, his first instinct would have been to resist. He did when he tried when he was a plush for all of about 5 seconds. But this time he just doesn't. He just kind of wheezes through her grip on his throat and just kind of lets it happen. Like it's worst comes to worst, nothing happens, but he's got to try. He's got to try.
Understood. So, you all see this. She walks up, and by the way, this has all been happening telepathically, so y'all don't hear anything. Then just suddenly, yoink, as she grabs him by the throat.
Oh God, what did he do?
And her thumb actually digs into his throat, and then there is just a pulse of power. And once again, especially you, Penzin, are given just this wave of magical energy as she literally selectionally transforms your friend in front of you. This is a level of skill that you actually did not think was possible. Like, you did not think this spell could be used in this way to change part of someone. But that is literally what she is doing, is she is reshaping his throat and the neurons connecting it to his brain, and doing it all simultaneously at once. Which, like, again, you're like, well, I could maybe, like, if I had the power, I could turn, like, a man into a cat. But, like, I couldn't turn a cat's vocal cords into a human's vocal cords and then give the cat the necessary neurology in order to speak. That's insane. Right. Yeah. But it's not insane for a dragon.
Yeah, Penton does watch us very carefully.
Yep. You are taking notes, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I suddenly understand that this is possible. Like, it never occurred to me that this was even possible before, what she is doing. And so, to say that this scrambles your brain, Distant Bells, is an understatement. It is like your entire psyche is lit up like a Christmas tree. And vocabulary comes just rocketing into your brain. The possibility, which, by the way, there was a possibility of you retaining any of your abilities from before, are now completely gone.
Yep.
They are gone.
That's a fair compromise to play.
Yeah. But you fall to your knees as she lets go. You have a permanent scar on your throat, where your vocal cords are, where her thumb literally pressed into your throat that will not heal.
Penton, your mum gave me a hickey.
Cool.
Permanent hickey.
Penton's mom has got it going on.
Bells kind of drools a little bit as his brain circuitry scrambles inside of his head, and he kind of wheezes. And then the words in Draconic, "Thank you." And
they come right out.
He bawls. He absolutely bawls.
And you now can speak, and everyone watches this, and then you hear from the distance Captain Jackson yell at y'all, "Well, are we going or what?" And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 158. Great job, everybody.
Whew. Yeah. Finally, I'm back to 75% to 85% normal. That was fun. I liked that.
More changes.
A lot going on here, and I know that we've had several episodes without a lot of combat, but that's how D&D goes sometimes.
And we have also just placed into canon in our own world that dragons are insanely powerful, and that this power exists in this world alone is terrifying.
Yeah, it would not take long for any of you to think about exactly what that power could mean if it was used incorrectly.
Oh, yeah.
It just, there's some cosmic horror level stuff that
if she so choose, she could make the King of Beltrain a mouse.
Well, yeah, I mean, see, that's baleful polymorph. That's like a normal spell. But what you're finding out is that she could give the King of Beltrain the head of a mouse, and he would still be alive.
Mickey Mouse's voice.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. What that would do to him, you have no idea. But, that's the level of power that she has.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, just for funsies, but I hope you all had fun tonight.
Very much so.
And we're going to roll right back into 159, and I hope you all brought your galoshes, because we're heading to sea. So y'all take care.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, and we will roll with you soon.